This presentation today is going to be about a half an hour long, probably just a way for us to sort of give an overview of this first year abroad program to Italy, tell you all about the class and what's going to happen during spring break, and then have time for all of you to ask questions as well. So yeah, let's go to those first couple slides, Ken. So we've already done our introductions here. Ken and Gina are going to be the two people that will help teach the class and be the ones leading this program abroad during spring break. I would love to be leading it abroad as well, but I'm on the behind the scenes here in Chicago doing everything, and I will be wishing everybody all the best as they go abroad during spring break. But they will be the two that actually lead your program. And then in terms of the coursework, I just want to set this up a little bit so you know. So for this course, you're going to be taking the Focal Point Seminar, which is the LSP 112 class. It's a 4-credit course that'll happen in winter quarter. It's going to take place Tuesday evenings from 6 till 9:15 p.m. This is a course that for most students is a required first year course. So most of your friends are all going to be taking LSP 112 courses as well, but you will just have one that's going to have study abroad attached to it. If you are a major that doesn't have to take a Focal Point Seminar, so theater, music, some CDM majors don't have to, you can still get credit for the course and have it count towards your experiential learning requirement or other elective requirements. And then also if you're an honor students don't have to take LSP 112 either, but honor students will automatically get credit for Honors 102, their History Global Contexts. So pretty much for any student, you will get a specific credit for this that should eliminate a requirement. I know that one of the big questions probably that people have right now as course registration is happening is, so how do I get registered? What do I do? For these courses, Study Abroad will register you in the course if you get accepted to the program and decide you want to move forward. So for your winter registration right now, what you should do is just register for your other classes, maybe register for a backup class in case. So register for like a regular LSP 112 class or something else as a backup. Hopefully you'll get accepted and be able to move forward and do the program. And as soon as that happens, you can just drop that backup class and then our office will enroll you in the coursework for this. So that's the best thing to do sort of for your registration. The other course that you will be enrolled in is a 2-credit course, this LSP 250 course, which will also be enrolled in your winter quarter. This is not a course that meets at all. So the only time you're actually going to meet is from 6 to 9:15 on Tuesdays. The 2-credit course is for your time abroad. So that week and a half while you're abroad is still part of the course, and that's this 2 credits. And there will be some information in the syllabus about, you'll have some assignments and reflections and participation and maybe like a post paper that you're going to do that's going to be towards that 2-credit course. So we sometimes get questions about, well, when does that course meet? That's your study abroad time. So before you ever get on the plane, you will have completed this LSP 112 course for the 4 credits, and then those 2 credits are for the time you're abroad during spring break. All right, Ken, why don't you take it away, talk a little bit about the course, and then kind of take it away on talking about the program.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we wanted to show the video first.
Yeah, let's go ahead. So I'm so glad a film major is in this meeting today. Unbeknownst to me, when I led the 2018 course and trip, there was somebody making a video. It's a 5-minute video. It focuses on one of the 2 cities that we will visit. It's called Assisi, this little hill town in Italy, about 2 hours north of Rome. They don't have the Rome portion in this video, but sit back and relax and enjoy this quick look at what it looks like to go to Assisi.
Haze on the hill over 10 days. Some waves swept boulders from your mouth. The hazel hounds move south to meet you here. Sky golden, turning sugar blue. The kind of heaven makes you feel.
Okay.
All right. You go ahead and reshare, Ken.
What was that, Scott?
You go ahead and reshare now.
Okay, I'll reshare in a moment.
Okay.
Which is to say, so if you join this group, you're really about the 3 P's: peace, paint, and pasta. Because it's all about following in the footsteps of this wild and crazy person from the 13th century, Saint Francis of Assisi, who was all about peace in a time of war. Sound familiar? But also paint. We are going to see those amazing artwork in both Assisi and Rome. And finally, pasta. You have to be up for eating all sorts of really great pasta, plus some gelato or really special ice cream over there. And the 4th P is pilgrimage. We're going to go on a pilgrimage. This is not just a regular trip. This is a pilgrimage like our lives are a pilgrimage. And so we get to learn about that. So now I'm going to share my screen here. And what I wanted to do is just show you some images from both Rome and Assisi, and how we see that peace, paint, and pasta working itself out in this 10-day trip that will be happening at spring break. So this is an image of the departure from O'Hare. I'm focusing on the 2018 trip. I was able to take students in 2019, 2020, 2016, 2018, and 2019. This is the group from 2018. And Hilltown, 2 hours north of Rome, Assisi is this beautiful medieval city that's still intact after all of these years. There's a castle at the top, and then St. Francis is buried here in this this church called a basilica, and this is a statue of him. He was in war, and it really shattered him, and it led him to think, how do I actually help make peace? And he came back shattered from war, and then found a way to peace, and actually changed his world because of that. And this is what I call the Peace of St. Francis. This is him looking over to the across the valley to really the headquarters of the movement that he started. Here we are taking the train from Assisi to Rome. So I'll show you in a couple of minutes the basic itinerary of what we would do, but we basically arrive at the Rome airport. We take a shuttle up to Assisi. We get settled in, and then we have a few days in this quiet little hill town and see the sights and the experiences there associated with St. Francis. And then we go to Rome, and that is a little more energetic. This is the Rome subway called the Metro. There are Vespas, or these motorbikes everywhere in Rome. This is St. Peter's Basilica, which we'll be visiting, and St. Peter's Square, or Piazza, where sometimes hundreds of thousands of people gather. This is called the Pantheon. It's a 2,000-year-old Roman temple that still exists. Many other things were destroyed in the last 2,000 years, but this still is this amazing site, and we'll be visiting the Pantheon. This is a cool neighborhood in Rome called Trastevere, and really gives you a sense of the life and energy of Rome when you're there, and also great gelato. Trevi Fountain, and we go to the Colosseum. So here are here's the basic itinerary. So we leave on March 16th. We fly overnight first to Germany, and then we catch a plane to Rome. When we get there, there's a really nice shuttle that we take on up to the hill town Assisi. We're there from March 18th to March 22nd, and we engage with all these sites that were associated with St. Francis, and also his co-worker, St. Clare. And then we travel to Rome on the 22nd, and then we spend those 4 days or so at the Colosseum, the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican, the Pantheon, Trevi Fountain, and much more. And then on March 26th, we return to Chicago just in time to start spring quarter. So I'm going to hand this over to Scott, and he can give us a few more details about this.
All right, so application process. A lot of you have already started an application. Some of you have already submitted your application, so great if you have done that. So in terms of how to apply, you're going to want to apply by November 1st, which is coming up in about a week and a half. So just make sure to submit your application by then. You go to the FY Italy program page. There's a little button that says apply now that you click on, and that starts your study abroad application. 2 pieces to the application. The first is an application questionnaire, and that's a pretty simple, just you go through, it asks a few questions about why you're interested in the program. And then we also ask for 1 online recommendation. It can be a DePaul professor, or because you are all new to DePaul, it could also be a high school teacher or counselor. All you need to do is put in their email address and it will send them a little email link that they fill out a few questions online. So please don't feel like you need to talk to somebody to get like a full recommendation letter created. It's just a quick online recommendation that they do. A lot of times your Discover or Explore professor from the fall is very willing to do it and probably knows you pretty well compared to some of your other professors, but just make sure that you get that requested as well. Once you've done that as well, Ken and Gina will be in touch with you. We do quick interviews of everybody who has applied for the program. It's nothing to be stressed out about. It's not like a one-on-one interview. It's going to be in small groups, just a chance for like a half an hour for a small group of you to get together, answer a few questions, get to know each other a little bit as they're looking at everybody who has applied. And then in terms of scholarships, and I'm going to talk more about costs in a second, there is no separate application to be considered for scholarships. You will automatically be considered for a scholarship as long as you submit your application to the program on time by November 1st. You must submit your application by November 1st in order to be considered for the scholarships. We will base those scholarships on a combination of your GPA and your financial need. So we work closely with the financial aid office to find out the financial need of everybody who has applied. And then part of the application is uploading your most recent transcript, which for probably a lot of you is going to be a high school transcript. So please make sure you have that when you go to do your application. It does not need to be like an official sealed transcript from your high school, just an unofficial transcript through an online portal, a screenshot of your grades and everything. You should be able, if you don't still have access, to contact your high school, and they should be able to get you that pretty easily. And then once you see if you're accepted to the program, you'll also find out if you did get a scholarship or not, and if so, how much. The scholarships range in cost from $1,000 up to almost the full cost of the program. So even if you do get one of the smaller scholarships, that's still $1,000 scholarship, which for this program is almost half the cost of the program. So, so we try our best to give as much funding as we can to as many students as we're able to, especially students with high financial need and strong grades. So you will find out all of this in sort of mid to late November. You'll find out if you were accepted to the program and if you got a scholarship and how much it's for. And then you'll have a couple weeks to decide, do you want to move forward or not? And hopefully if you do get accepted, you'll be able to move forward. If you're not, and your plans change or you didn't get the funding that you were hoping, you just let us know. I'm not able to move forward, and no problem. There's no, you're not out anything. There's no application fee or anything like that. But all that will happen in sort of mid to late November. And I mentioned earlier as well, we will register you in the classes if you do get accepted and decide to move forward. So you don't have to register yourself in anything. Right now, register yourself in a backup class for winter quarter just to have there, just in case. And then if you do get accepted and move forward, you'll just drop that class and we'll register you in this. So next slide, Ken. All right, so this program, the cost of the program is $2,300. Of all 7 of the first year abroad programs that we're running this year, this is actually the least expensive. Some of them are higher 2000s or getting into 3000, but this is a very affordable one. Again, even that smallest scholarship knocks out almost half of your cost. And the program fee covers almost everything for your program. It's your round trip airfare to and from the location, all your accommodations for the whole program. It's most of your meals. You're going to be responsible for most of your lunches and a couple of dinners, but all your breakfasts and most of your dinners are covered. All your activities, excursions, transportation. We also provide you with international travel, health, and accident insurance. All of that is covered. So really, it's a handful of meals and then personal spending money is what you need in terms of the extra money to bring, which is not a really big amount. Next one. All right. And that is sort of the end. I'm kind of your best contact for questions about the application process. If you have questions about the course or the program, Ken's the person to reach out to. Oh, I forgot to update one of those links. It says Jerusalem instead of Italy. But yeah, please reach out to us, and you can probably stop the share now, Ken, and we'll just kind of have everyone here. But we would love to answer whatever questions you might have. So you can unmute yourself or put those in the chat.
So I have a question. I don't have a passport. So would, like, with people who don't have passports or haven't gotten or like applied for one yet.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any, can you like help people like that like apply for them?
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward process, although there is some stuff you have to do, and I'm happy to kind of walk that through with you. If you go to the US passport website, it gives really detailed steps of exactly everything you have to do. And what's important is that you just get on that process as soon as possible. So if you are applying for the program, definitely get on there and start the process, because it does take, up to 6 to 8 weeks, and we need to make sure we get that, because we have to actually have that when we book your tickets. But I can help you with that, but also just go to the US passport website and start the process. You're basically going to fill out a little application form with all your information. You have to get a passport photo taken, and then you're going to need to make an appointment at a passport center, which a lot of times is a post office. And there'll be a little searcher that tells you, you put in your zip code, it'll tell you the ones near you, you register for an appointment, and then you just got to bring all your stuff with you. You have to have like birth certificate, your passport photo, the money that you need to pay, and your paperwork, and it sort of lists all that out, but I'm happy to talk it through with you as well.
Okay, thank you.
I saw a question in the chat from somebody about when they were doing their program application, they accidentally submitted their college transcript. That happens sometimes, but most of you don't have any grades yet in college, so what we want is a copy of your high school transcript. If that is the case, just simply email me and I will update it. So I'm going to put my email address in here, and you've all gotten probably emails from me already. And if you lose this, it's on the Study Abroad website as well. But just shoot me an email with a copy of your high school info and I'll swap it out in your application. We're going to check for that anyway, so you would hear from me, but I'd rather get it taken care of early, so that's great. All right, what other questions do people have?
I am a resident of the US, but I'm not a citizen. Does that matter when going to Italy? Like, do I need a visa to get there?
Where do you have a passport? And if so, like what country is your passport from?
Yeah, it's a Colombian passport.
Okay, so we can talk a little bit afterwards. So that's one where if you are someone who's traveling on a non-US passport, totally fine. We have lots of people that are not US citizens or international students who go on our programs. Depending on the country you're from, we'll need to look into whether or not you need a tourist visa to go. If you do, there's going to be steps you have to go through to do that. And so we can kind of talk you through what that is. You're going to want to basically get in touch with the embassy and start the process to get your visa if you need one. So we'll have to look. And so you said Colombia is the country?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is Catherine?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
I can be in touch with you more about it too.
All right, thanks.
Other questions? Did I miss anything in the chat? I think I've gotten everything from the chat. So nothing else. This is your big chance to ask us anything you're wondering about.
Well, maybe I could just say, oh, okay, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, average amount of people expected for the trip. Yep, we can accept up to 20 students on the program. So, so that will be our ideal size, having 20 students. Some programs are a full 20 students. Sometimes we have a little less than that, but 20 is our maximum number. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let everyone know that first of all, Gina and I are really excited about leading this experience. And uniformly, students who have gone on, well, all first year abroad programs, but my experiences with this one, this has been a very life-changing experience. And we really approach it from the point of view that at this point in your life, maybe any point in your life, we're really asking the questions about where do we go in our lives. That's why we call this a pilgrimage, which is a meaningful journey to a significant destination. Well, the biggest meaningful journey is our own lives. So this gives us an opportunity to think about that, but also to together have this pretty powerful experience encountering a wonderful person from the 13th century, way back then, but also experiencing together the artwork, the peace making skills that we will emphasize in this course, a sense of community, and I mentioned pasta. There's like a million different kinds, and they're just, all of them are very good. No matter what restaurant you go into, it's almost like a 5-star restaurant because it's so tasty and wonderful. So I guess I would just, I know we only have a few minutes here, but I guess I would just say, if there's something about this trip that's moving you, or that you want to just share a little bit about why this would be a good experience for you, do you think? Be happy to hear any comments or thoughts at this point.
I'm personally, I've always wanted to go to Italy. My family's from Italy, so I think it'll be really cool to see where my family's from. And I've also always dreamed to see St. Peter's Basilica, so I'm really excited to see that, and like the Vatican, and just, I've seen pictures online, but I just have heard from everyone who's been that it's so much better in person. So
that's really great, Claire. And what we do in this program, we have somebody, an Italian on the ground, who helps arrange all the places we go, and so we don't have to worry about things. I mean, we have these, we usually get the tickets ahead of time so we can jump the line a little bit and just experience and enjoy the Sistine Chapel or the other artworks at the Vatican museums, and then, yes, St. Peter's, the Colosseum, the Pantheon, and did I mention gelato? I think, but anyway. Thank you, Claire. Any, and we're going to be following the footsteps of St. Clare of Assisi as well as St. Francis, so your namesake in a certain way. Other thoughts?
I recently changed my major from art to history of art and architecture. So, I mean, I've always been interested in art and looking at art and like the architecture, and, you know, you've seen pictures, but like actually going there is just like a whole nother level of like, I don't know, immersion for the experience. So that would be really, really cool to see.
That's really, really great, Bridget. You know, on the last trip in 2019, there was an art major who also, I think, was transitioning into art history and history of art and architecture. And this was so over the top compelling for her. And I'm an old art history kind of person myself. So I agree with you. I think seeing these artworks in person in their own contexts are really powerful. And that'll be true for, if you've never even thought about art, you get kind of like mesmerized. And we will be experiencing various forms of artwork in museums, but also a lot of the churches have these murals and so on, and statues that are really fabulous. So you have that chance on this trip. Thanks, Bridget. I just want to underscore what Scott mentioned, which is, see, DePaul has a really big study abroad program, but a few years ago decided we want everyone to become a global citizen and to get their feet wet as soon as possible. That's why the first year abroad program was started, and gives that, instead of waiting till your senior year to go abroad, you get to start now. And I think that's been this powerful experience, and it does open up other possibilities. A lot of people who go on these first year abroad programs end up spending a quarter or even a whole year abroad in other study abroad programs. So gives you that chance to check it out.
Yeah, that's a really important point that Ken is saying. You know, some students are worried, if I study abroad in my first year, does that mean I can never go abroad again? Tons of students study abroad again before they graduate. So it's a great way to kind of dip your toe in the water this first year and then see what other opportunities there are. it's also great as a first-year student to get really close with a whole bunch of other students and a faculty member and a staff member, and sort of a relationship that's going to last you through these next few years at DePaul. So many of the people on these first-year programs stay in really good touch in these years ahead, and these become great friends and mentors. And so it's really cool to be able to do this early in your career and have those relationships be a part of your DePaul experience.
And I would just add one more thing, which is, I know cost is always a question. DePaul, because it wants us to become global citizens, really has made an effort to try to defray those costs through scholarships. And you saw what you heard from Scott about that. So I just urge you, if you're at all interested in this, go ahead and complete an application. And as Scott said, you can then decide. You can see if you did get enough help to do this, but you may be pleasantly surprised. I know students sometimes get all of it covered, and we can't guarantee that, but it does make it more feasible for students in light of what DePaul's commitment is. I want to, not to put you on the spot, but Gina, if you'd like to offer some reflections on what you're thinking about this trip.
Yeah, I'm just really very excited. Thank you all so much for taking some time out of your Friday to come learn more about the program. I know several of you have already submitted applications, and we're just really looking forward to reviewing and moving forward in the process. If you have any questions about the process, please feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we'd be glad to assist you.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments or excitements or concerns? Or we'd love to hear. As Scott said, this is we created this opportunity so you'd have a better sense to engage with this possibility. So any
I have another question.
Yes, Imani.
So like, how's the schedule? Like, is it very jam-packed, or like, is there time in between certain trips or activities for the day for students to like explore the town for themselves?
Yeah.
Or
so unlike some programs, I probably shouldn't say this in front of Scott, but we have made an effort in this particular program not to make it so jam-packed that you can hardly breathe. Typically what happens is after breakfast, we do a little orientation, and then we go to one of the sites, we go together, and then often, not always, but often you really have the afternoon to yourself. Now, what we like to do, and we'll do this in the course, we'll set up like a buddy system. We think it's really good for people at least to have one other person, so as a support for you and so on. And then usually what happens is you get back 5 or so, we do some reflection, have dinner, do a little more reflection. And then usually what happens, especially in Assisi, because it's such a low-key place, then students go out after that. Rome is a little more hectic and a little more, we want to be more security conscious. It's a big city, but still there is going to be time for you to go and explore. Again, we prefer to have you in a buddy system, so that you're not, if something comes up, you have 2 heads are better than 1. So but I think the students have appreciated the fact that it hasn't been jam-packed, and a lot of the packing or the jam packing is during the course. You get a lot of the information, you do the readings. So when you get there, you're pretty familiar with what we're experiencing. So we don't have to do long lectures, for example, at Assisi or Rome. So does that answer your question, Imani?
thank you.
And you have dinner together as a group a lot of the nights, but aside from that, you have very little, if any, evening events planned. So the evenings are yours to do what you want. So.
And you go out for lunch on your own. And so there's why we go to Assisi first. It's a nice way to ease into it because it's a pretty chill place. And the students sometimes, actually, some of them at the end go, why do we even want to go to Rome? Let's go, let's stay here because it's so, you know, but then they go to Rome and have a really great experience. So. Any other thoughts or questions, or are we good?
Great. Thank you, everybody. If you haven't done your application yet, please get started on it. Make sure you get submitted. Please don't wait until 11:30 p.m. on November 1st to submit it and then have something happen and you don't get it in on time. So just get it taken care of in these next few days, this next week. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know, and then go from there.
Maybe I would just add to be very clear, a lot of you have started an application, but we really need you to complete the application by November 1st. So, or on November 1st. So, so it's not just starting one on November 1st, it's submitting the full one. So, and as Gina said, we look forward to reading them and getting together with you for a brief interview, no stress around that. Just gives us a chance to get to know each other better. So thanks so much, everyone, for
everybody.
Like Gina said, for taking time out from your schedule. And you can email me, kbuddigan at depaul.edu, or Scott or Gina, and we're happy to either have another Zoom session with you one-on-one or just by email or text. So
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.